Okay. Psalms 95, verse 1. Oh, come, let us sing unto the Yahuah. Let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before his presence with thanksgiving and make a joyful noise unto him with songs. For Yahuah is a great Elohim and a great king above all Elohims. In his hand are the deep places of the earth. The strength of the hills is his also. The sea is his, and he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. Oh, come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Yahuah, our Elohim, our Maker. For he is our Elohim, and we are the people of his pasture, and the sheep of his hand. Today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your heart, as in the provocation, as in the day of temptation in the wilderness, when your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my work. 40 years long was I grieved with this generation, and said, it is a people that do err in their heart, and they have not known my ways. Unto whom I swear in my wrath that they should not enter into my rest.
Okay, y'all hear that? He said, harden not your heart as in what? The provocation, and as in the day of temptation, where? In the wilderness. Where was the day of temptation? In the wilderness. And he said what? 40 years long was I what? Grieved with this generation. And said, it is a people that do err in their heart, and have not known my ways. So even to this very day, what's the problem? The heart. He said, enter into what? His rest. So let's go to Hebrews right quick. Brother Yaakov, get Hebrews, the 4th chapter. We're going to read verse 4 through 12. I'll read it kind of loud. Because if your heart is not in, the 4th chapter, verse 4 through 12. So if your heart is not right, you cannot enter where? Into his rest. Yeah, right.
For he spake in a certain place of the seventh day on
what day?
the seventh day.
And the seventh day is what? Shabbat, or day of rest.
And Elohim did rest the seventh day from all his works. And in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest, seeing therefore it remaineth that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached entered not, and because of unbelief. Again, he limited a certain day, saying in David, today, after so long a time, as it is said, today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. For if Yahusha had given them rest, then would he not afterward have spoken of another day? There remaineth thereof a rest to the people of Elohim. For he that is entered into his rest, he also hath ceased from his own works, as Elohim did from his. Let us labor therefore to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. For the word of Elohim is quick and powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
So, what we see here is speaking of the same thing, of entering into his rest. Now, we know that was to be noted here and understood. When we go to verse 10, it's very important. He said, for he that is entered into verse 9. It says, there remaineth therefore a rest to the people of Elohim. There remaineth a rest for the people of who? You notice it just say, there remaineth the rest for the world? There remaineth the rest for who? The people of Elohim. How do we know this? What would be our precept to this? What book could we go to verify this? And what's going on with the people of Elohim that they should need rest?
What did I say?
What would they be resting from?
The labels.
Captivity.
The labels.
Labels, yeah, captivity. Where can we find that at? I said what? Get it for. Because what he's fixing to get, it takes us right back to the wilderness. So Isaiah. Isaiah's going to take us right back to the wilderness, give us the same picture. He's going to go over and cover some stuff that we read earlier in the lesson. You have 14? Okay, go ahead and read.
Yahuah will have mercy on Yahuah, and will yet choose Israel, set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined with them. They shall cleave to the house of Yahuah, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. The house of Yashra'al shall possess them in the land of Yahuah, for servants and handmaidens. They shall take them captives who accomplish their work. They shall rule over their oppressors. It shall come to pass in the day that Yahuah shall give you rest from your sorrow.
He shall give them what?
Give you rest from your
He
sorrow.
will give them rest from their sorrows,
And from your fear,
your fear,
and from the hard bondage wherein you were made to serve.
and from the hard bondage wherein you were made to serve. He's going to give you rest. There yet remaineth a rest for the children of Elohim. You're the only one going to rest. Everybody else going to be what? Servants and handmaids. This is why I like to show people this book is very specific in whom it's speaking of. Very specific. That's why he calls names. He personalized this book. It's about the children of Yashra'al and the condition they're in, the condition they were in, and the future of the children of Yashra'al. But see, we have to go here with people because people get this mindset. They think that they can just come and join and be a part and be in and just all of a sudden be you. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. Well, you just did a lesson that said the strangers, they're going on, he said, treat them like one born in the land. Yeah, he said, treat them like you would treat your brother. He didn't say they were your brother. That's why I specifically pointed out some things, even how showing even in the law. He said, if you found an animal laying somewhere that you didn't kill that died of his own, he said, what did he say? He said, don't you eat it. Because you don't eat any animal we consume, we have to kill it. He can't die of his own. But then he said you can give it to the stranger. And you notice that stranger I was talking about, 1616 Garrett, the one that's the most favorable out of all of them. When he said give it to the stranger, guess what stranger that was? Garrett. So even with that one, it's showing you he's not Yashra'al. He's not on your level. He always separates and makes a difference between you and the stranger. So, Yashra'al, or the children of Israel, that yet remaineth a rest. You're going to enter into rest. In that day, I will give you rest from what? Your sorrows, your fears, and the hard bondage by which you were made to serve. Okay. Let's go to Jeremiah 31. start at the first verse, and we'll read verses 1 and 2. Akoti Shema, a.k.a. Shema.
Jeremiah 31,
Verse 1 and 2.
verse 1. At the same time, saith Yahuah, for I will be the Elohim of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. Thus saith Yahuah, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Yashra'al, when I went to cause him to rest.
Okay then. Very good. Let's read that first verse. And at the same time said Yahuah the Elohim, will I be the Elohim of all the families of Israel. Not all the families of the earth. He said, I will be the Elohim of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. It said, thus says Yahuah the Elohim, the people which were left of the sword found favor or grace in the wilderness. It said, even Israel, when I went to cause him to rest. Even Israel. Now, when y'all see that word even, do y'all know what it means? If you have something even, it's also what? Equal. So it's not like he's saying one thing and he's going to say even Israel, like there's a separate entity to know. Whenever you see that word even in Scripture, most times it's being placed there, most times you see it italicized, to let you know it was put there. It's not in the original text. So it would read what it said. And Yahuah the Elohim, the people which were left of the sword found favor in the wilderness, Israel, when I went to cause them to rest. You know, still talking about Israel, he's causing to rest. And I don't even know how the nations and other people get even mixed up on this. What would you be resting from? Your people own and you rule over everybody and own everything. I don't care what group of people you look at. You look at the Russians, they got wealth. You look at the Saudis, they got wealth. Almost all the Arab nations do. All the European nations. It's only one group of people as a nation who doesn't have wealth and prosperity. It's the nation of Israel, the true children of Israel, that reside in these lands being called black and African American, all this foolishness. Go ahead.
Solomon said Israel is counted and reckoned by the seed.
So what now?
Solomon on the line, he said Israel is counted and reckoned by the seed.
Reckon? Okay then. More reconciled about saying Israel is counted and reckoned by seed. Right?
By the seed.
By the seed. And that's why I said earlier, this book is very specific in whom it's speaking of. I don't care how you want to bring other people in and graft them in and everything. Yeah, they can come fellowship amongst Yashra'al. They can walk in the live amongst Yashra'al. But I'm going to say this one more time. I'm going to say it real loud and clear. And I want everybody in Facebook land, YouTube land to hear me. Yashra'al, a.k.a. Israel, they are the children of Yahuah the Elohim, and they are the people of Elohim. They are his inheritance. They belong to him. He said he's the Elohim of Israel. You can't find in this book anywhere else where he said he's the Elohim of any other people. And I know this might touch a lot of people the wrong way, but we have to stick with the book. And you know what? And I'm gonna get back in the list because I have to say this. The reason most people have a problem with what we're saying is they do not understand what the Hebrew scriptures are. They do not understand what they call the Bible, what it is. You're reading about a recorded history. You're reading about records of a relationship between a husband and a wife. And if you know anything about how a Hebrew marriage works, you know there's one thing that's required. When a Hebrew man and a Hebrew woman come together, and they begin to enter into an agreement or a marriage contract, or what we call a ketubah, one of the things that's required is a recorded or written history of the husband or the groom, and a written or recorded history of the bride-to-be. And so, when you're reading the Torah, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, that's the beginning. That's the foundation of their marriage. Genesis is a recorded history of what? The groom. The creation and everything. Exodus, down in Egypt and coming out of Egypt, is a recorded history of what? The bride-to-be. Leviticus, you start getting to the actual written agreement. Numbers, now what do you have? You have a record of what? There are a relationship of them together in the wilderness. All of these things that I'm naming, when a Hebrew man and woman gets married, all of this is a part of their marriage ketubah. It's a requirement that there be a history of the groom, a written history of the bride, records of their relationship of when they met. All of this stuff is required. And once you know how a Hebrew marriage works, you will know that the Bible is just the written records of that relationship between Yahuah and the nation of Yashra'al. All the way throughout. That's why when I read these scriptures that sound harsh and sound so hard, it sounds that way because most people that are reading these writings, they have no earthly idea of what they're reading. And they try to approach it from the aspect of a Christian interpretation and spin on something that didn't belong to them. Why do you think the book is called the Old Covenant and the Renewed Covenant? What kind of covenant are we talking about? It's marriage. And it's very important for people, our viewing audience, our listening audience by way of YouTube or Facebook or whatever, to know what they are handling. And once you know what you're handling, you understand why it's specific. And you see the nation of Yashra'al and Israel focused on so much. While he's saying, I'm the Elohim, or the Ish of Yashra'al, who is his Isha. It's a relationship between a husband and a bride. That's what you're reading, and that's what you're handling when you're reading this. So when we get specific and it seems like we're being separatist or personal, we are. We have to be. They're just like any husband or any wife in the viewing audience or listening audience. If you are in a relationship with your wife, how would it look like when you're not there? I have a relationship going on with the woman. The covenant or agreement was not between you being the Ish, her being the Isha, you being the husband, her being the wife, and then me somewhere in the middle. You know that don't make any sense at all. Your agreement and the vows you made were between you and that woman you chose to marry. And that's why this book here is so specific about the nation of Yashra'al. He's luring them into the wilderness. He's bringing them back under the bonds of the covenant. They are his inheritance. He is their Elohim. They are the lot of his inheritance. They are his people. And this is why the book is so specific. Once you know it's talking about a relationship and a marriage between a man who betrothed this woman, or a husband who betrothed a wife, you begin to see that it's important that the emphasis put on that man and this particular woman. The man being Yahuah our Elohim, by way of his son Yahusha, and Israel being the woman of the bride. So why did I say Yahuah our Elohim by way of his son Yahusha? Because in Hebrew, so that's a good question, I'm glad to ask it. In Hebrew, or in the Hebraic culture, what is the purpose of the father? Say that again loud. To go find a woman or a bride for his son. Y'all ever noticed that Isaac didn't go find himself a bride? Abraham sent his servant to go what? To go get Isaac a wife. The same thing with Jacob and all of them. It always the father's duty to find the what? Find the bride who? For his son. That's why I say, I know y'all think when I say Yahuah, they Elohim or they each, but we know no man has seen or heard from the Father any time they live, according to the scripture. Up until the time he spoke when Mashiyach was immersed. That was the first time any man had heard from the Most High himself. And so what we see here is this book that we're speaking of, we're still in the wilderness. It may not seem like, but I'm showing you the purpose of the wilderness. This is all about what? A reconciliation with this woman and what? Thank God. This woman and her husband. And it takes place in the wilderness. Before he can just bring her back under the covenant, what does he have to do? He said, I have to really see if you really love me. He said, last time, I'm going to get in that scripture, he said, a woman shall encompass a man. You remember last time, he encompassed the woman. What happened? He came down and he sought out his bride. But this time, what happens? What happens in the wilderness? Is he come looking for us or seeking us out this time? I don't think so. How is he going to know he has your heart? Because you're going to seek him out. And we're going to get to that later on too. But y'all, is this making any kind of sense to y'all? And this is why I have to explain it, because and I know sometimes people take offense to when we get possessive with the scriptures. But you have to, because it's only because they feel like they are being left out. But they are not being left out. There's an order to this thing, and the thing is, the bride has to be back in covenant relationship first. He's not even dealing with nations like that at all. And if a nation even wants to hear from him or have any dealing with him, guess what they have to do? They have to come here and sit under you. So if anybody that listen to me, you of the other nations, no, he does not deal with you. And that's not a mean thing. And that's not a bad thing. It's the truth. And what we try to do, a lot of times we let people get in bad positions and we set them up for a rude awakening. And then when you're cool, because you know Yahuah don't worry about people's feelings. So when he comes to separate and set Israel apart, he don't care about how somebody from the other nations feel. But it's all because they don't have understanding. When we have understanding, a lot of times we don't teach them. And the sad part about what I'm saying, do y'all know how many Israelites don't know what the scriptures is? They don't know it's a marriage contract or a ketubah or the foundation of a Hebraic marriage. The thing that I just told y'all is foreign to them. And they're Israelites, but because they're in a lot of these camps and stuff, and their leaders don't know it. So it makes it difficult when they say the Most High is a separatist. No, if you say the Most High is a separatist, explain to the people why he's a separatist. Don't make it seem like because he just hates white people and he hates Africans, he hates Egyptians and all these people. It's not that. He's a separatist, and we're separatists because it's a relationship between these two parties. And nobody can interfere and come between that relationship. And once you know that, it gives you a better understanding of why he separates Israel from the nations and deal with them face to face. Not because he don't like you or have a disdain or hatred towards you. Yahuah loved all of his creation. All of his creation. But he betrothed somebody, he separated somebody, called them out for himself. They belong to him and him only. That's why the message has to come across like this. Y'all ever know how we've been reading about the wilderness? He said nothing about the nations? About bringing them under bond? And trying their hearts? I don't need to try to prove or test another woman who I don't have no interest in, don't belong to me.